It's a horrible argument. Anyway, when we talk about the class of 2025, Alabama, you see, just did take over the number one spot at on three. The Buckeyes still have that at 247, barely. 247 just came out with new rankings, and it almost feels as though this is going to sound ridiculous, right? It almost feels as though there was a coordinated attack against Ohio State players. We saw the Ohio State class drop. It dropped from like 312 to 308. And we saw a whole lot of guys in the Buckeyes class drop. Now, it would make sense to me and to you probably if you've got, let's say, 20 kids that, yeah, maybe 10 go up, 10 go down, or things don't always add up, right? Maybe 13 go up and 7 go down, or vice versa. But what if I was to tell you out of the 26 guys in the Ohio State class, 4 of them went up and the rest all dropped or stayed the same? Like, would that not feel like you to be a coordinated attack? I don't know. Anyway, last night I was furious. So bear with the tone if I'm a little irritated. But I just recorded this last night of myself kind of going through the class and going through the guys. So a little recap, a little clip here of me going through the class last night. I'll be right back after this. 4-7 rankings, and the Buckeyes still sit at number one, but they were at 312, now down to 308. That's a big drop. Let's see what happened. And again, these are the 247 internal rankings, not the composite. We'll hit that next. We had 11 top 100 players. Let's see here. We got Tavian St. Clair, Devin Sanchez, Naeem Offord, all still at 5 stars. Carter Lowe still sitting at 34, just outside of 5-star territory. Here's where it gets a little dicey. Fahim Delane, Riley Pettijohn, Quincy Porter, and Ziggy Grady, all down into the 90s. That's a drop for every single one of them, if I remember it correctly. Bo Jackson was in the top 100, as was Zahir Mathis. Nate Roberts was roughly 120. He's now 211. BP Miller, here's the good news of the day. BP moves up, 4-star status, now listed as a wide receiver instead of a quarterback. So props to him for getting his run. That's really awesome. This is absurd. TJ Alford, 227 in the country, the number 23 linebacker. Show me those 22. That's ridiculous. Max Roy doesn't surprise me. London Merritt, this does. London generally has been considered about a top 150 player in the country. Unranked. Des Jones, unranked. Phil Bell. This, I'll come back to that in a second. Brody Lennon, again, doesn't surprise me. Trajan Odom, he's been a 3-star in their ranking forever. I don't get it. It's not true. But when you look at this, guys, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 3-stars. Now, Isaiah West. Isaiah West, they've got as the number 21 back in the country. I know for a fact, because I took a screenshot last month, Isaiah West was the number 12 running back in the country because Jordan Davison was 13, which is why I took the screenshot. Isaiah had moved above him. Now, down to 21 in the country. I've seen some of his games. I've seen some of his film this year. He looks fantastic. So let's go to the composite. We've got our big dogs at the top with Devin, Tavian, and Naeem. Riley Pettijohn, number 36. Fahim, number 42. Quincy, number 53. This is more like it. Carter, 54. Zahir, 65. Bo, still in the top 195. TJ, there we go. Top 100 player. Top 10 linebacker. Ziggy Grady, 105. London Merritt, back up to the top 50. Nate, top 50. Phil Bell, top 200. Jarquez, where he belongs, 4-star, 285. These dudes, all top 300. All of these guys, top 300. Brody, Max, Deshaun. Des Jones, just barely outside of it. How many 3-stars? 3. 3 in the composite, which factors in the other 3 rankings. 9 in the 247 internal rankings. It would make sense that guys would, some guys would go up and some guys would go down at a relatively even number, right? If you got 26 guys, 13 up, 13 down, or maybe it's 10 up, 16 down, or vice versa. Tell me in what world how it makes sense that 80% of all the guys in the class on 247 went down. How does that make any sense at all? It doesn't. It's ridiculous. But let's look at this class with the symmetry, which I just absolutely love. When we look at this class, first off, all great dudes. There's a ton of potential here. Tavian at quarterback, Bo Jackson and Isaiah West, and I think Isaiah West is one of the absolute steals of this class. Totally underappreciated and underranked. He's phenomenal. As much as I love Bo, and I do, I think Isaiah West will be the more productive running back at Ohio State. At wide receiver, you went with more of a, I hate to use the term budget, but the truth is there are two position groups here where you didn't really spend a lot of money in this cycle, and you got to kind of think about things like that. Next year, Chris Henry Jr. Last year, Jeremiah Smith. This year, you didn't go heavy for the headliner wide receiver that was going to cost you a lot of money. You went with these four guys, and being able to pull these four guys without going and spending heavy, an unbelievable class. I love the potential. Quincy Porter, now this is a headliner dude. He really is. Bully ball guy, big size guy. I love this dude on the team. Des Jones, this is your slot guy, your quick guy, great hands, great routes. BP Miller, your freak athlete you're going to work with, turn him into a great wide receiver. And Phillip Bell, who at one point was thought to be a 5-star wide receiver when he was a little younger, just didn't quite grow into what they thought he would, but a really talented kid. At offensive line, Justin Fry puts together 3 really good-looking prospects that I like. Carter Lowe out of Toledo, absolute beast of an offensive lineman. Everybody wanted this kid. You got him. Props to you. Jake Cook, this is the kid, local kid from outside Columbus. He is really good. He's going to be a center, getting better every week. His body looks great. Really had to work for his offer. The story of the cycle, really, for me, was Jake Cook. And Javon McFadden, you fought with him, down to the end with Colorado and Maryland, and you end up getting him, and I think he's a solid-looking prospect as well. At tight end, Keenan Bailey killed it. Nate Roberts, the kid lives 15 minutes from Norman, Oklahoma. His brother goes to Oklahoma. Keenan got him. Brody Lennon was a total sleeper. Wonderful evaluation. Shortly after they got his commitment, he actually moved in On3's rankings above Nate Roberts. The kid's film is ridiculous. It's lower competition, so you really got to sift through. But man, an electric athlete. The dude's awesome. At corner, what can you say, man? You got the number 1 and number 2 guys currently in the class. Devin Sanchez, we know for sure isn't going anywhere. We'll see what happens with Naeem at safety. Fahim Delane is your headliner. Does not get enough pub. The kid is an absolute thumper and an incredible athlete. Cody Haddad, a really interesting prospect out of St. Ignatius. Dad and grandpa played in the NFL, and he's certainly got the athleticism that his dad does. Deshaun Stewart, total stud, very underrated. Des Jones, teammate out of DePaul in New Jersey. Those New Jersey dudes are absolute dogs. These two, no different. At defensive tackle, you got Trajan Odom out of North Carolina, Maxwell Roy, who is Isaiah West's teammate at Philadelphia St. Joe's, but also a Jersey kid, as is Isaiah. Those are all Jersey kids. Quincy Porter, Isaiah West, Trajan Odom, Maxwell Roy, Des Jones, and Deshaun Stewart. 5 dudes from New Jersey in this class. And then you got Jarquez Carter. Jarquez Carter is like a little Warren Sapp. The kid's a beast, and he's strong as an ox. He's quick. He's twitchy. He does more 225 reps than all but one of the current Ohio State players, and he's 18 years old. So incredibly strong. He's just a little shorter. And, yeah, I'll take it, man. That's an absolute – I don't want to use the term budget, but like the wide receivers on the defensive line, they went with guys that they could get in without having to do max deals, because you gotta choose where you spend now, right? I think they did excellent evaluations. Love all those defensive tackles. At defensive end, this is where opinions differ. London Merritt, you don't know if he's going to be a defensive end or a defensive tackle. Ziggy Grady, Zahir Mathis, some people find Zahir Mathis to be not very good, too skinny, and maybe a flip target for Penn State. Well, he is a flip target for Penn State, but maybe he will flip to Penn State. Some think that he is exactly what you need, tall, slender, going to be an excellent edge rusher. I don't know, man. Until I see the kid put on some weight, I have no idea. Some guys are hard gainers and can't put on a lot of weight. He needs a lot. Ziggy Grady, I think might be a step slow than other people think. Um, I would have preferred Damian Shanklin out of Indianapolis, but I think he's a hell of a prospect anyway. So as we project forward, I just the next crop of defensive ends I'm not thrilled about. If there was one spot on this class that I'm not 100% like excited about, that's the one I'm reserving judgment on. Not to say that they won't be excellent, they very well could be. At linebacker, TJ Alford, Riley Pettijohn, two super studs, and Eli Lee, who plays a little bit of a different game than those two. Some people compare it to Tommy Eichenberg. I compare it to Tommy Eichenberg, but a way better athlete. So that's the class of 2025. They really wanted the number one class. I really wanted them to get the number one class. Doesn't look like that's going to happen. Doesn't matter. Excellent group. The staff did a wonderful job with this class. So there we go. That's the class. And like I was a little irritated, right? But I know it doesn't matter. I know it doesn't matter, but it sure would be nice to capitalize on the number one class. Just one time, it looked like we really had that opportunity at one point during the class, and it wasn't going to happen anyway. We needed a few other balls to bounce our way throughout the cycle, and now the key is just holding on to everybody. Zahir Mathis obviously coming in for his official visit. That's a big one. Naeem Offord looms really large. He just put out a really positive sounding tweet last night, but at this point, like whatever words coming out of Naeem Offord's camp or Naeem mean absolutely nothing to me. We'll see what happens on signing day. That's where I'm at with that one. Not even going to make any more predictions.